I'm going to start with you, Jim. I'm going to do a little word association in as few words as you can. If you've got a long story, go ahead. Lee J. Cobb.
Lee J. Cobb was undoubtedly one of the greatest actors of his generation. He started out in New York in the group theater and all of the WPA projects during the Depression, and worked in every venue known to the theater and the motion pictures. Some of the greatest, well, I think of his performance in 12 Angry Men and On the Waterfront for two that no one could have done them like Lee did. And he came to the Virginian, and now this is not going to be a long story, but he came to the Virginian, and we loved him. We loved having him. We loved working with him. He was gracious and genuine, and couldn't have been nicer to everyone on the set. And then he did an interview, and he said, "I hate this show, and if I had the money, I'd buy all this film up and make banjo picks out of it." That's Lee J. Cobb.
John Dehner.
John Dehner?
John Dehner.
John Dehner, another stalwart, wonderful actor with great strength. Came in and took over the show after, and I forget who had left, whether it was Lee or whether it was
Bickford? Charles Bickford?
Bickford came in after Dehner, didn't he? I think he came after Dehner. But I think John Dehner originally took over when Lee left, I believe. But he didn't. He didn't stay with the show.
Didn't stay very long. No.
I don't know why. I don't know whether he didn't want it or the studio wanted something else. But anyway, he was a great guy to work with, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
And from there, Charles Bickford.
Charles Bickford was a great old gentleman and a great actor, and brought so much experience and knowledge to the show. And he had been in so many great westerns and knew so much about the West, and was a historian in his own right. So we couldn't have done better than with Bickford. And he passed away on the show. He finished the show on a Friday night and went home and was passed away on Sunday. He was very sick. He had pneumonia, but he refuse to leave, refused to go home, and it got to him. So I guess he was in his late 80s at the time that he finished up. So
John McIntyre then.
John McIntyre and Jeanette Nolan, and it's hard to talk about one of them without the other, although they were fine in their own right. But they usually work together, man and wife team, and they brought a great deal to the show. I thought their tenure was absolutely brilliant, and I loved working with them. I got along just great with everybody on the show, and all of the older people that came in to do the show. They were all superior people, and all brought their own interpretation of the character and that position in the cast. So,
including the end when the show changed to the men from Shiloh.
The men from Shiloh, and
Stuart Granger. Then
we had Stuart Granger, King Solomon's Mine.
Yeah.
So, that's quite a bunch.